Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to be walking you through all the camera equipment, all the gear that I use to make my YouTube videos. A lot of people, hit me up in comments or shoot me emails or drop things on Facebook groups and things like that saying, hey, I want to get into YouTube. What do you use, right? Especially in like the overlanding space, it's kind of a unique space because you've got to be able to track vehicles, you've got to be able to get B-roll, you need a drone usually. So there's tons of different equipment that you could get. So again, I'm not necessarily saying that the stuff that I have is the stuff that you need to get, but I did want to share what I use so that if you were curious, you kind of got a feel for what I use to shoot my videos. So hopefully this stuff helps. Of course, I will put links in the description below to everything that I use to make finding it as easy as possible. So today, let's get into all my camera gear that I use to shoot my overlanding YouTube videos.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, so first things first, you got to have a bag to carry everything in. Now, I've been fortunate enough to work with Peak Designs, so this is a little bit on the pricey side, this Peak Designs travel backpack. It's a 45 liter, but it has a ton of capacity. They've got additional things, which I'll show you here in a second, that are actually meant for packing cameras and camera gear and lenses and things like that. Now, I am a non-traditional filmmaker, if you will. I am more of a YouTuber than I am a filmmaker, so I don't have a DSLR or any sort of professional camera. I'm actually shooting right now on my iPhone 16 Pro. That is my predominant camera. That is the camera that I use to shoot most of my videos, just right on my phone. It's super easy. I always have it. It shoots in great quality. It's easy to edit. And if you're hearing this right now, you hear how clear it is with no microphones. That's thanks to the software called Audio Mix that is built into the iPhone. So you can actually select whether you want to hear some of the birds chirping in the background or whether you want it more like a studio mix. So it's nice that you have these options with the iPhone. So again, I've shot on my iPhone for the last 5-6 years, and just as they upgrade, my camera gets better, and then I've got a phone that I can use and play games on and connect with people and call people, and then I can also shoot my videos on it. So again, that is my main camera, is my iPhone 16 Pro. Right now it is situated on my Peak Designs tripod. Now I just got this again from Peak Designs, right? These things are again on the pricey side, but if you want a tripod that gives you a ton of flexibility, and I'm going to cut in here and show you all the features of this thing, it's got a really easy to adjust ball head that's extremely high quality. When you compare this to some of the cheaper, Chinese knockoff type tripods out there, none of them compare. This thing is just built from the ground up to be a really solid, really nice, really small footprint tripod. It actually folds down really, really small as well. So it fits in this bag right here. So this is how small this tripod is when it's folded down. It comes with this really nice soft carrying case. So I can just throw this thing in my back seat, or I can throw it in the side pocket of my travel bag. And then I've got all my camera gear in one place. So this is the Peak Designs tripod. Again, this thing is amazing. I've had multiple tripods and none are as smooth as this. This thing just feels so nice. This one's the aluminum one. They've also got a carbon fiber one, which is beautiful, but it's about $700. This one's about $400. But again, you saw how small this packs down with that bag that it came with, but look at how big it goes up to. And this isn't even all the way up. This middle section can actually be extended. So there is just a little knob on the side here that you can use to loosen or tighten it. And then, you pull it up to where you want it and you tighten it down. That right there is about full height. So I'm 6 foot and it's at my eye level, basically. Now, you do have multiple extensions down here on the legs. Again, super stout, super well made. Again, this has this really high quality ball head up here. And the cool thing about that, you actually turn this kind of the opposite way that I expected, to the right. And then that loosens it up so that you've got full movement. You've also got a level on the top here so you can see whether you're level or not. But then you get it to where you want it and you simply tighten it back to the left. And then, this thing is solid. Like, once you tighten it, it just grabs onto that ball head and it does not move, which I love, because a lot of my old tripods, a lot of the cheaper ones, those things are not high quality. They are just the cheapest possible ball head that you can get, and they move, and you're shooting a shot and your phone falls over, your camera falls over. It's just not ideal. But with this thing, this is a lifetime tripod. I've had my other old tripod for maybe 4 or 5 years. I'm now using it as a mount for my Starlink over there because it's kind of crappy, but it works for something that's just stationary. But this thing is going to last me for life, and I love that. You've also got a quick release here, which you can lock and unlock, but you have this quick release. So you just do this, and then you can remove the head from the top. So it's got their proprietary clip, which also, if you are a Peak Designs product user, they've got these fast mounts for like your backpack strap. So basically this is the same clip system that they use for their fast clips. So again, if you've got a camera that's mounted on this, you can really quickly swap it from your tripod over to your little clip that maybe clips to like your backpack strap. So you can carry your DSLR with you or your camera with you. For me, it's a phone mount, right? Because I'm a phone guy. But if you had a DSLR, you could also mount that right on this and then really quickly hot swap this thing from one Peak Designs thing to another, which is awesome. All right, so now that we have kind of touched on my main camera and my main tripod, I'm going to show you one of the reasons why this Peak Designs bag is one of my favorites. It has back access, and that is the primary way that I use this. I use it to carry all my stuff around. It's got really comfortable, nice straps. I have the ability to put like an action camera on this. So again, if I was hiking or something and I wanted to get sort of a first-person view from my chest, I could just attach it right to the backpack where I'm carrying all my camera gear that I will have on me when I'm shooting anything anyways. So that's kind of handy. But this back access is extremely nice. You basically undo these 2 zippers, and then this whole bag comes open, just like that. Now, you do have room for a laptop over here, too. So if you're bringing that for editing or anything like that, then you do have that ability to carry it here. And then inside of here, again, is all the rest of my camera gear. So let me move the camera over here, and I'm going to kind of walk you through everything step by step. All right, so first of all, we've got my Camolo, and again, I'm going to put links in the description to all this stuff. This thing was really inexpensive, 15 or 20 bucks, I think, and it's basically a MagSafe mountable tripod. So it can be used as a handheld. I use this a lot when I'm doing like first person shots and I'm walking around, say, the truck and I'm shooting stuff or I'm shooting a piece of gear. You can MagSafe mount your phone to this. So no need to attach anything or any sort of clips or anything like that. It just works with the MagSafe on your iPhone. And then this acts as a handle. And this is adjustable too, so this thing actually bends. So you can get the angle that you want. Sometimes if I'm shooting stuff like down under the truck, I may like fold it like that and then I can move it side by side. But so I use this as both a handle, and I like that it has multiple functions. Or these also pop out and then this bends back and it becomes a tripod. So you can basically set this down, and then I could use this as a mini tripod if I'm shooting something close up or if I'm shooting a piece of gear or something like that. So this thing is super flexible and really, really nice, and I like it a lot. Now, before we dive into the minutia of this little bag over here that has a ton of stuff in it, I did want to touch on one of my newest pickups that I'm super excited about, and I'll overlay some footage here from this little drone. I just picked up this Hover Air Pro Max. This thing is amazing. It's got an awesome field of view. It's essentially, for me, I'm mostly a solo filmmaker, so I mostly make these videos by myself out in the woods, like I'm by myself right now. And so as a result, it's kind of tricky sometimes to get the right shots. But with this little tiny drone, one, it's awesome. It just folds right out. You can launch it from the palm of your hand. It can shoot in up to 8K video. It's completely autonomous, and you don't even need a remote for it. So again, since I shoot primarily on my phone with my DJI drone that I've got down here, I have to use my phone as a monitor and as a controller to fly the drone, which means I can't shoot from my phone and fly the drone at the same time. Whereas with the Hover Air Pro Max, this thing can shoot completely independently. I could be shooting video and audio from my phone, and I could be shooting other cinematic B-roll stuff from the Hover Air, which is awesome. But as you can see, this thing is so small, you could literally put this in your pocket. It folds down. It has magnets that hold it together. This material that the cage is made out of is super hyper elastic, so it can take hits. I've actually run it into some trees a few times. It can take some hits and it just bounces right off. The blades are totally protected, so you don't have to worry about it, especially in the environments that we are talking about, where we make videos, right, as overlanders, out in the woods, out in the wilderness. This thing is protected, and it's super, super hardy and stout. I've also got multiple batteries for it, so you can fly this thing for probably about an hour without having to charge anything, which I love. So, but that is the Pro Max. Now, in addition to it, they have some other cool stuff, which I've also got in this bag, which is the beacon and the controller. So this thing is what they call the beacon. You can basically tell the drone, follow this beacon no matter where it is, which again, for overlanders is great because I can put put this in my vehicle, and they do have a couple different mounts for it, and they're magnetic, so it makes it really easy to just slap this thing in your truck, slap it on an e-bike, you know, put it in your pocket, whatever. But so then this beacon basically acts as the GPS target, if you will, for the drone to follow. So for following my vehicle and doing shots like that, this thing is perfect. Now, in addition to that, there are also a pair of handles in here, and you get a couple different options for joysticks for it. But you can use this with your phone and use it to fly the drone like a normal drone. So if you didn't want it just to do the automatic sort of follow mode or zoom out mode or the different modes, they've got a ton of different modes and they're updating the software all the time. You can use this thing just as a regular controller or a remote, or you can also just use one of these with the beacon, and then you can use it as a one-handed remote. So you can basically fly it towards you, away from you, left, right. You can control the thing with just one. So it gives you a ton of flexibility. So this thing is amazing. This is honestly one of my favorite things that I've gotten in a long time. It's got me really excited to keep making cooler and cooler videos for you guys. But so that is the hover and the beacon. Then down below here is my DJI. This is the drone that I've had for a few years now. This is the Air 2S. So it is a full-size drone. As I mentioned, the downside though is you have to use your phone to control it. But mine's pretty beat up. I have crashed it. The blades have chewed chunks out of it. This thing has been kind of beat up and abused, but it's also been to Wyoming. It's been all over the country. It's shot some really cool shots that you'll see on the channel on some of my trip videos and stuff like that. But I love this drone. I do. I really like it. It's a lot more manual. So if I was doing, you know, like some big cinematic shots, again, like in Wyoming or something like that in a big open space, I'm going to use this drone. But for almost everything else, for just normal B-roll around camp and stuff, that is where the hover comes in. And again, this Peak backpack just holds everything, right? Like, I mean, I've got 2 drones in here. I've got tons of charging cables and things like that. And then I've got all the rest of my camera gear over here. So let's move over here and let's look into the minutia of everything else I've got. All right, guys, so I've already shown you this because it was sitting on top because I've been using it on this trip, but that's that handheld thing. Again, this thing here is, I believe, a medium. I'll have to look, but I will put a link to this too down below in the description. But one of the Peak Designs camera containers or camera carrying cases, this thing actually latches into this bag so that it doesn't move. And then you can zip this closed and you can kind of keep all your camera gear. But so if you had a DSLR, all this stuff is Velcro in here and it can be configured different ways. Now, again, because I'm a non-traditional person and I'm not really making stuff with a DSLR, I just have a bunch of like accessories and things like that, ways to mount my phone, ways to shoot some cool shots, lighting, mounts, all that sort of thing. So that's basically the basics of what this thing is. But this Peak Designs bag is just amazing for camera gear. So I've got this little thing here, which I don't really use these much anymore, but they are little tiny inexpensive mics. So these things were like 20 bucks, I think, but they plug into the bottom of an iPhone. They've got a couple mics, lav mics, a charging cable for them. So you could use these if you want to. Again, with the iPhone 16, this has kind of been replaced and is no longer necessary. I've got a couple of lights in here. I've got this little tiny Ulanzi cube light. And then I've also got this small rig adjustable sort of scene light that you can use when it's really dark outside. But so this just gives you some flexibility, right? If it's nighttime and you want to light up a scene, you can adjust the brightness on this thing. So it just gives you some easy ways to do lighting and stuff when you're out remote, like I am a lot. Now, this thing is pretty cool. I picked this up pretty recently, but this is from a company called Omaton. And basically what this is this thing bends out here, and this is also MagSafe. So again, the focus here is on my iPhone, right? But this gives you some flexibility in how you want to mount it. You can also turn this thing so that you can get different sort of directions for it. But the coolest part is you can turn this, and as you can see there, it starts to separate. So then what you can do is you can clamp this onto, say, like a headrest of your seat or handlebars of your bike, or pretty much anything that you could clamp in this thing. Dial this back down until it's tight, and then you could attach this to anywhere. So it basically gives you just a ton of different ways in a really small package to mount a camera phone wherever you want. And that's how big it is. It's like the size of my palm. But it gives you just cool ways to mount your phone or your camera, you know, in a different place where you may not be able to mount it otherwise. Then I've got one of these Seasucker mounts. This thing is amazing. It's got a ball head on top of it, so I can quickly mount like a phone mount on it, and then I can stick this to the outside of the vehicle. So some of the shots that I've used this for is like, you know, attaching it to like a rear quarter panel and sort of shooting down the side of the truck as I drive down a gravel road or some sort of a trail, so you can get different cool shots. But this thing is just really nice to have. Then this thing here that's kind of hard to see, and I don't really want to take it all the way out, but there is this arm thing here, and I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. This thing is amazing. It's like $150, but basically what it is it's got a sea sucker on the bottom of it. You can attach it to the hood, let's say, of your vehicle, and then it's got a built-in shock for absorbing bumps and stuff. So especially for us when we're off-roading and doing rough trails and things like that, your camera footage could get really blurry and shaky, right? But you put this thing on the hood of your car, for example, and attach your phone, or it works even better with the next thing I'm going to show you, which is my Osmo Pocket 3. You put that on this thing and it absorbs all the shock and it gives you really super smooth, moving shots. So I use this arm a lot when I'm shooting like trip videos and things like that. Then, as I mentioned, I've got the Osmo Pocket 3. Now, this is a pricey piece of kit, but this is sort of my backup secondary camera. I use this thing all the time. If it's not shot on my iPhone, it's almost always shot on this thing. It has a built-in gimbal. It's super, super stable. It's very small. Again, you'll see a focus on everything being small. That's how I can fit it all in this backpack. I want stuff that I can just take with me. If I can't take the gear with me, then I can't shoot videos, right? So I want to have the smallest, but also best quality gear that I can. So that's why I have this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now, with that, I've also got some ND filters for that. So that's what these are in here, basically. All right, guys. But that will do it for all the camera gear that I used. Hopefully that was helpful for you, right? I know there are, again, a ton of other overlanders. We all kind of watch each other's videos, I feel like, right? We like to get inspired. We like to see what other people are doing. And being, again, sort of more non-traditional and not a big camera guy, like I'm just a dude, right? That 5 years ago, I decided to teach myself to edit videos. I decided to start shooting some videos on my iPhone, and I haven't really changed a lot. Like I'm still doing that, right? I hope that I'm getting better. I hope the quality's getting better. I hope the audio's getting better. I'm working on it, but I don't really have plans to like learn a whole new skill. I don't want to become a professional photographer or videographer necessarily. I just want to keep giving you guys content that is for us, right? That's made by us for us, if you will, that has to do with overlanding and stuff and the basics of it, and not necessarily going out and spending 200 grand on an earth roamer, right? So that has kind of been my focus, and that's why my gear is pretty budget priced. My gear is pretty, easy, low access. Like it's not anything crazy. You don't have to, again, spend, I mean, the Osmo Pocket 3 is expensive. The Hover Air is expensive. The DJI drone is expensive, but I've acquired those over years, right? Like it's taken me years, and then as new needs come up, then I kind of, will justify it by maybe I make some money off of YouTube ads or things like that. And then I put it back into buying gear to make better videos. So again, I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions or anything, if you're like, what did you use that for? Or what about this? Post up in the comments down below. Love to hear from you guys. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there will be links to all this gear down there in the description as well. So if you want to pick any of this stuff up, it's all awesome stuff. I swear by this stuff. I use it all the time. I've had most of it for years. Again, the Hover Air is a little bit new, and the Peak tripod's a little bit new, but the Peak tripod and the Hover Air are both just the best. Like finally starting to get a little bit better gear than I've had historically. So that's pretty cool. Also in the description below will be links to all my other social channels. So wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers, things like don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog, or I hate people so I camp, or all things overlanding logo merch. So check that out. There's also a join button below this video, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and some other perks. So if that sounds good, check that out. If you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, we've also got a 24/7 Discord that is run through my Patreon. So if you become a paying member of the Patreon, you get access to that, and we chat about our gear and our rigs and stuff every day. We do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're also getting together and going camping once or twice a year. We just had one about a month ago in Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky, and a tornado ended up coming through. It was a really wild weekend, but we had a great time. We got to chop through 1 million trees with chainsaws, and it turned out to be a really fun time. So if that sounds good, check out the Patreon. And then last but not least, there's a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook page. This is just a totally free to join group that I run with about almost 25,000 people in it at the time that I'm recording this, but different from the big groups. So we don't allow bullying or anything like that. Whether you're new or experienced, we'd love to have you if you're coming to help, right? If you want to come and help people get into the hobby of overlanding, that'd be a great fit for you, and we'd love to have you. But again, thanks for watching. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.